Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Dynamics 365 Tech Talk. Today's topic is What's New in Project Operations 2025 Release Wave 1 and 2. My name is Alejandra Cabrales, and I will be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this session through Microsoft Teams Town. This session is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation. When you join this event, your name and email address may be viewable by other session participants in the attendee list. By joining, you're agreeing to this experience. If you have questions for our presenters or need support, please use the Q&A panel located on the right side of your screen. Our presenters will be responding to your questions throughout the session and in a live segment at the end of the presentation. Thank you for your patience during these announcements. Presenting for us today, we have Satya Teki, Lalita, and Satish Panwar. Satya, over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Alejandra. In terms of agenda for today, we will cover what's new features in Dynamics Project Operations 2025 Release Wave 1 and 2. We would also cover use cases and demos where applicable. Against each feature, we have identified the references to the corresponding business process catalog and the deployment type in project operations. In the end, we will share useful resources and have some time for question and answers. So, to start off things, we have officially renamed our deployment types to better reflect the value and clarity our customers expect. These new names align with how organizations implement and scale project-centric operations across industries. Deployment type Light is now Project Operations Core. This deployment type is designed for customers integrating with third-party ERP system, focusing on deal to pro forma invoicing. The second deployment type, the Resource Non-Stop deployment, is now Project Operations integrated with ERP. This is tailored for organizations leveraging Dynamics 365 Finance for inventory and accounting purposes. And now with the support for stock products that we're going to talk about in this Tech Talk, this deployment type is a game changer for companies managing complex project-based inventory needs. The third deployment type, the stock production order, is now Project Operations for manufacturing. This is built for production order scenarios and manufacturing-centric deployment. With this, I will hand it over to Satish.
Next, we will talk about agents in Dynamics 365 project operations. We have three different agents in project operations at this point: time, approval, and expense. This slide provides agent compatibility with various deployment types of project operations. Time and approval agents works on data side of project operations and hence are supported with deployment types, project operations core, and project operations integrated with ERP. Expense agent is supported when customers have deployed project operations integrated with ERP or project operations for manufacturing. Let's get into details on time agent. Time agent helps in automating time entry and eliminate revenue leakage. Time agent automates the creation of time entries, freeing your project team from the manual error-prone process of logging hours. It leverages data from Dynamics 365 project operations and other Microsoft productivity apps to generate accurate time entries and work commentaries automatically. It uses multiple data sources, including project booking, project assignments, historical time entries, resource working hours calendar, Outlook calendar meetings. Powered by Microsoft Copilot Studio and Dynamics 365 project operations, the time agent intelligently understands and consolidates data from these sources, eliminating duplication and generating time entries at a frequency defined by each user. Key benefits include plug-in revenue leakage, reduce overload for project and admin teams, and it also helps minimize errors and improve DSO. Day sales outstanding. Here is a quick glimpse of time entry that have been created by the agent. Users have the opportunity to view details of the time entries directly within Teams. Once reviewed, users can submit the time entries directly from Teams. Next, we will look into Approvals Agent. The purpose of Approval Agent is to streamline the approval process for time, expense, and material transactions. The time and expense agent uses a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent to do an initial review of the incoming time, expense, and material entries against policy document that the customer uploaded for each type of entry. If a record meets the criteria that are outlined in the policy document, it's marked as ready for approval. Otherwise, it's marked as needs review. This initial review makes the approval process more efficient for project managers. It also helps them avoid time-consuming corrections by reducing mistaken approvals. Here is a quick glimpse of Approvals Agent. Note the values in the review status column that determines if the time entry requires further review or it's ready for approval. Next, we will look into Expense Agent. Expense Agent simplifies and automates the process of managing employee or worker expenses in an organization. It reduces manual effort by processing receipts, creating expense lines, and generating expense reports with minimal user intervention. The agent streamlines the workflow by letting users forward receipts to a designated mailbox. It then extracts key details such as the amount, merchant, and location, and group related expenses into comprehensive reports. Users can review, edit, and submit those reports through Microsoft Teams. As a result, the process is more efficient and accurate. The agent also processes receipts that are uploaded directly into Finance and Operations app. By minimizing the time that is spent on administrative tasks, the expense agent let the user focus on higher value activities and improve the overall expense reporting experience. Expense agent notification in Teams once expense report has been created. Here is a quick glimpse of expense agent, and we can see how the report has been created by the agent. And once the report has been created, this is Teams experience. And we will also have a separate tech talk on Dynamics 365 project operations agent that cover further details, including setup as well as the functionality. Meanwhile, if you are interested in installing these agents for your customer, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Thank you, Satish. So with that, we'll move on to the next feature that we're going to talk about is to manage stock products for project integrated deployments. This is one of the big announcements in this release where we support stock products in our integrated deployments. We have a dedicated talk that's being planned to talk about this in detail. However, today I would like to show you a glimpse of the feature. So this feature seamlessly integrates Dynamics with Dynamics 365 Finance. It lets users, project operations users, manage stock products, create purchase orders and subcontracts, consume stock for projects, and use stock products in estimates, quotations, and contracts in Dataverse. This feature supports the creation of project invoices for materials that are consumed under time and material-based contract ranks. It also uses project cost for revenue recognition on fixed price contract lines. In addition, it helps to ensure that both Dynamics 365 project operations and finance accurately reflect project costs. So, as I mentioned, this feature is available for the deployment type project operations integrated with ERP. So these are the prerequisites that are required for enabling this feature. So as part of the release, we provide synchronization of products, sites, warehouses, and item dimensions, and use of stock products in project quotations and project contracts. We also leverage D365 inventory costing for accurate project cost. A place to maintain sales prices in D365 project operations, track stock material usage in project operations, and consume materials using project operations journals full visibility into project material consumption, and enable procurement lifecycle for stock materials, where we support creation of purchase agreements, purchase requisitions, and purchase orders, purchase invoices in the integrated deployment. With this release, we also support subcontracting scenarios for stock materials, and we also enable inventory recalculation and closing for stock materials. With that, I just want to show you a glimpse. So here in the screenshot, you can see that you can view the products in Dynamics project operations. Dynamics Finance serves as the master system for creating and releasing the products. When a new product is created or released in Finance, it automatically gets synchronized with Dynamics 365 project operations. Project operations reflect the project type, regardless of whether the product is a service item or a stocked item. If the product includes multiple variants based on dimensions such as size, color, configuration, or style, each variant is represented as a separate product in project operations. When a new product is released in Dynamics Finance and a default purchase price, sale price, or inventory cost is added or updated, Dynamics 365 project operations identifies the appropriate cost and sales price list during synchronization. It selects the first cost price list and sales price list in alphabetical order, and then that matches the company's currency. If any prices are changed in Dynamics 365 Finance, the corresponding prices in project operations are automatically updated so they reflect the change. Here in this screen, project operation users can now view on-hand inventory for specific products in a company. On-hand stock can be accessed from various areas, including the product master in project operations, project estimates, project quotation lines, project contract lines, and project journals. Although the Dynamics 365 project operations does not maintain its own inventory data, it retrieves and shows informations about on-hold stock from Dynamics Finance. Currently, project operations supports viewing on-hand inventory up to the site and warehouse levels. So additional inventory dimensions are being addressed in the future releases. So for now, it's the on-hand inventory can be viewed at the site and the warehouse level. With this feature in Dynamics 365 project operations, users can create project estimates for time, expenses, as well as now materials. These estimates are synchronized as project item forecasts in Dynamics Finance. Material estimates can be created for either a specific product or a product variant. And here you can see that project operations now supports the use of stock products in project project quotations. Stock products can be added directly to the project quotations line details. Sales prices are retrieved based on the prices list that is associated with the project quotation. However, users have the flexibility to manually adjust the sales price on the quotation line as well. Project operations supports the use of stock products in project contracts as well, along with the project quotes. Stock products can be added directly to the quote line details. Sales prices are retrieved based on the price list on the project contract. Again, here, the users have the flexibility to specify the right sales price. And in Dynamics 365 project operations, a material usage log provides a way to record material consumption so that it can be approved by the project manager and eventually invoiced to the customer. So when you activate the stock product feature, users can now create material usage entries for stock products in project operations. These entries can be created for either a specific product or a product variant. And the same is true for journals as well. Now, entry journals also support material usage. So when you use entry journals, you don't have to enter time, expense, and material usage logs in project operations. When you activate the stock product feature, users can create the material consumption entries for stock products directly on the journals. These entries can be created for a specific product or a product variant. When a user tries to confirm the journal for a stock product line, the system validates whether the product is available in stock. If the stock is available, the system shows an error. If the stock is unavailable, the system shows an error message and prevents confirmation of the journal entry. So the features that are planned for the next releases are inventory reservations and item requirements, where we can use item requirements to post material usage. And you can also use item requirements for purchase orders and also post material consumption for projects during project receipts. Currently, now you can do that during invoicing and post adjustment when the price is different from the purchase price. With that, we'll move on to the next feature, that is financial tags for project financial transactions. So project financial transactions can now use Dynamics financial tags framework. So this is supported in both our deployment types, that is the integrated deployment types, where you can now provide financial tags on integration journals, and also in our project operations for manufacturing, where all the project journals can use financial tags. This feature allows capturing financial tags on accounting entries posted to the general ledger. With that, we'll just run into a quick demo on this feature. In this demo, I'm going to talk about enabling financial tags for project financial transactions. For that, go into Finance and Operations and enable the feature Enable Financial Tags for Project Financial Transactions. Once this feature is enabled, now you can use financial tags on project journals. So all the journal types are supported of, for creating financial tags. In this example, I'm creating an expense journal. You can go ahead and create a new journal, and you can see the financial tags is now available. For this demo, I've created a financial tag name, and I'm selecting a value on the head. Now, when I go into the lines and select a project for where this expense needs to be posted, you can see that the financial tag values are defaulted on the lines. You can also provide a cost price and a sales price for the expense transaction. And you can also see that the financial tag values are on the main account and also on the offset account. You have an option to go ahead and change the financial tag values for the offset account or the main account. Now, after the financial tags have been provided, you can go ahead and post the financial tag to post the transaction. And you can view the voucher. So the voucher information now shows the financial tags along with the other accounting information like the ledger account and the financial dimension. So in case of an integrated environment, financial tags are also supported. So here is an example where I've gone into the project operation integration journal, and you can see the financial tag tab available here. Provided the tag value and posted an integration journal. And when I view the voucher, you can see that for an integration journal, uh, the financial tag values are carried over and posted on the general ledger voucher. Okay, with that, we will move on to the next feature. That is, like, we're going to talk about certain troubleshooting enhancements that we have done in the modern project integration or an integrated deployment. So here, the first thing that we're going to talk about is the project operations integration workspace. So this workspace provides, quickly identifies and highlights integration errors, configuration problems, and system issues, saving significant troubleshooting time. And it also provides the dashboards for the accountants, which highlights pending watch journal postings, integration journal lines that are not yet created, and missing records to simplify ledger reconciliation. We also have a batch job where we automate the process to resync data to keep data consistent across the integrated systems. We also have a synchronization view where it clearly clear indicators of synchronization status for documents like expense reports and vendor invoices for better visibility and accuracy. We also have a log in the workspace, which shows like the invoice proposals without truncation for complete visibility into integration. With that, I'll just showcase a demo of the integration workspace. In this demo, I'm going to talk about the project operations integration workspace provided for the integrated deployment type. So this is available in finance and operations under the workspaces project operations integration. So let's talk about the dual write tab. When an expense or a vendor invoice is posted on the project operations, the financials are recorded in the procurement or expense integration accounts. The project cost is posted by using the project integration journal. However, when accountants generate a trial balance or for a period, they might encounter challenges. For example, they might find balances in the procurement or expense or integration accounts without a clear explanation. The dual write tab of the project operations workspace helps address this issue by providing insights into the causes of discrepancies in the integration balances. Issues that affect these balances are highlighted, and guidance for resolving them is provided. Therefore, it's easier to identify and correct discrepancies efficiently. The unreconciled amounts FastTrack on the dual write tab shows outstanding balances for vendor invoices and expenses that haven't been reconciled. The categories FastTab has three tabs: summary, expense, and vendor invoice lines. Let's talk about the summary line here. The summary line provides an overview of unreconciled amounts of expenses and vendor invoices. It includes detailed information such as amounts that project integration journal lines aren't yet created or posted for, and records that aren't synced from Dataverse to Finance. The Expense tab provides a detailed view of each expense record within the specified start and end dates. The start date is the first open ledger period based on the current year and previous year that are associated with the company. The end date is the current date. The following views can be validated. The missing actuals. This view shows the expenses that were successfully processed in finance but that lack reference from Dataverse. There are several possible reasons for these issues. Expenses, when synced from finance to Dataverse, expenses were not automatically approved in the Dataverse. Actual records were not synced from Dataverse to finance. The next tab is the next view is the missing journal view. This view shows expenses that are successfully processed and synced from Dataverse to Finance, but the integration journal lines are not yet created or posted for. To fix this issue, you can run import from staging process from the periodic section uh, in project management and accounting module. Alternatively, alternatively, you can post the existing journals that are in draft status. In this environment, I've imported and posted all the journals in the draft status, hence I don't see any records here. In the next view, all expenses, this view shows all expense records that were successfully approved in finance, regardless of whether the project cost was updated through the project integration journal. All reconciled expenses view shows all expense records that were successfully processed and that the project cost was updated through the project integration journal. To process any of expenses that were synced earlier because of dual write failures, you can use the sync button to run the synchronization batch job. This job syncs all expenses based on the first open period of the physical calendar and the current date. This is true even for the vendor invoices. So we have the same set of views available, and the explanation holds true even for the vendor invoice lines. Thank you. Okay. Uh, the next feature that we're going to talk about is use actual synchronization and reconciliation. On the project operations side, this workspace that the framework provides helps you identify and address integration challenges that are related to project actuals and transaction connections. Those challenges include dual write synchronization issues. You can also initiate a re- resynchronization of actuals or transaction connections. This synchronization facilitates the generation and posting of integration journal lines. So, to fix synchronization issues with actuals or transaction connections that weren't previously synced, a new out of sync actuals page is available in settings sections of project operations. This page shows that this page shows actuals that meet either of the following conditions: project integration journals or project invoices when posted in finance. Actuals went synced to finance, and integration journal or project invoice lines went created for the missing records. A filter is applied to the actuals entity shows only records where the skip sync setting is true and a voucher is missing because the actuals record should have generated and posted a voucher. Currently, the page shows only actuals that were generated at least an hour ago. In addition, it is limited to transactions from the previous month. So the third feature that we have added for troubleshooting uh, is the enable actuals validation to prevent invalid actuals. This feature only validates actuals records. This feature ensures only valid actuals records proceed to finance by validating them before integration. So this minimizes failed postings, improves data integrity, and reduces manual error handling in dual write integration. This is an optional feature that enables more validations for actuals records that are integrated from Microsoft Dataverse into finance and operations infrastructure. It pre-validates the actuals before it allows the records to be created during the import from staging process. In this way, it prevents the creation of records that might not be able to be posted. Because of timeouts, rollbacks, and the general nature of the dual write, an originated actuals record might be rolled back in Dataverse. As a result, the integration journals that aren't valid can be posted. This feature introduces a synchronous delay in the import from staging process. There is now a 5-minute wait period between the time when transactions are available for import and the time when validation runs. Only validated transactions continue to the creation of the cost and unbilled sales integration journal lines and the creation of the billed sales invoice lines. With that, I'll hand it over to Lalita.
Thanks, Satya. Now let's discuss about this new feature called multiple address support for integrated deployments. Previously, project operations didn't support adding multiple addresses for customers, vendors, or contacts. Users also had to enter addresses separately in Dynamics 365 customer engagement and finance apps, which often led to duplication and errors. With this feature, you can now maintain multiple addresses, such as delivery or invoice addresses, directly in project operations. These addresses synchronize automatically with Dynamics 365 Finance through dual write, ensuring consistency across all applications. You can also assign specific addresses to project quotations, contracts, or funding sources, making sure that invoices and deliveries go to the correct locations every time. This is the prerequisite. You need to enable multiple addresses for accounts in the feature control. And let's start with a quick demo. Go to Dynamics 365 Project Operations, Sales, Customers. Let's create a new customer, LCM test. Let's give the relationship type as customer and give the customer group ID, as well as the price list. And click on Save. Since we enable the multiple addresses support feature, we are seeing the project addresses tab here. So click on the project addresses. To add multiple addresses, click on New Registered Address. I'm giving this as LCM address 1. Make sure you have given valid country region. Let's make it as a primary address. Save and close. Let's add a couple more addresses. LCM address 2. Save and close. One more address. LCM address 3. Save and close. So this way we can create multiple addresses under this tab. So now we have one primary and two non-primary addresses. Now let's go to Finance and see if this customer is created with those addresses. Let's refresh. As you can see, the customer account is being created, LCM test. Let's just click on that and view the address details. As you can see, all the three addresses got created automatically. One primary, two non-primary. So this is how customer addresses getting synced between different apps. In this, if you make any changes in finance or Dataverse, automatically that change will be across all the apps. If you make the change in finance, you will see it in Dataverse. If you make the change in Dataverse, you will see in finance. Let's go to the next demo video. Here, but in this demo video, I've already created a test account, customer account with multiple addresses. kind of similar to what we did in the previous demo video. As you can see, we have 3 addresses here, test address 1 as a primary and 2 and 3 as non-primary, just to make sure this has been synced in the finance. Yes, we can see this has already been synced. Now let's go back and try to create contracts and invoices and see how these addresses gets populated. Let's go to contracts. I've already created a test contract for this demo, where you can see I have given delivery address is test address 2. We have the option to choose any address here, but I just gave address 2 for this demo. You can also create a new address from this advanced search. But now let's go to contract lines and create a new contract line. Let's create fixed price contract and give the project. I'm selecting all project tasks here, excluding time and material, and just including the expense and fees. I would give $300 as the contracted amount. Save it. Let's go to project contract line details and create the new line detail. But just give the description as test and consulting lead as the role, with a delivery date and amount. I would give 300. Save and close. I would make the billing type as chargeable. Just click on it and make sure it has been saved. Yeah, it has been saved. We see billing type is chargeable. Let's go back and let's go to invoice schedule. And let's give the billing start date as 20th, and let's create the billing milestones. And make it ready for invoicing. Let's go back. We can go to customers here. Instead of a line, maybe we should go to contract customer. So go back to the main contract and click on the customers here. Click on this customer. This is called project contract customer, where you can see both the invoice address as well as delivery address populated. Delivery address we can again choose here. Invoice address, it is directly coming from the customer account's primary. We have the option to choose the delivery address as well as create the new one from this page too. Test address 1 is the primary one, which we gave on the test customer account. Again, even here we can choose different addresses as well as create new one. So different pages like on codes, contracts, customer accounts, we have the option to create, choose, update addresses. So now let's go create the invoice. In the summary page, if you scroll down, again, we should see the both invoice as well as delivery addresses here. As you can see, the invoice address, again, by default, it populates the primary one, but Even after generating the invoice, we have the option to update this one, as well as the delivery address for this particular invoice. This is the main advantage of this feature. Okay. With this, let's go to next topic, which is async dual write. Next slide, please. So the new async dual write feature in project operations removes the 1,000-line limitation for project invoices by processing data in the background instead of real time. This makes it possible to handle large, complex invoices without failures or performance issues. By decoupling the synchronization process, async dual write provides scalability, reliability, and a clear audit trail, ensuring that project invoicing flows smoothly between Dataverse and finance while maintaining financial integrity. Let's see a quick demo on how to enable the dual write async integration.
For dual write, let's go to FNO from the URL over here. Once you open FNO, you can go to Data Management Workspace. You will see a dual write tile over here. Click on that. On this one, based on your applied solution, you will see the maps which are running, which are with the status, executing, all that will come over here. There is a new button called Integration Jobs, which is basically primarily doing the async dual write feature. You can create new integration job, and in that job, what you can do is you can define what will be the primary for conflict resolution. And once that is done, you will be able to add table maps over here. You can select multiple table maps and also define the sequence. Let's say customer group needs to happen before customers. So that way you can define, save changes, and also to debug the log and what's happening. What you can go to Maker app, make.powerapps.com, find your environment, select based on the drop down, and go to tables, click all. Once that is there, you can search for dual write tables, and you will see async execution error, execution summary. These are the tables which you can see.
Okay, let's go to the next topic, which is time entry calendar interface. So traditionally, entering time was done in a grid format, which worked but wasn't the most user-friendly. So with this release, we now have a calendar-based view. This allows users to quickly see their work across days and weeks and enter time the way they naturally think about it. So the flexibility of daily, weekly, or monthly views makes it easier to plan, track, and validate time. Entries are color-coded, so draft ones will be in yellow, submitted ones in blue, and approved ones in green. So status is clear at a glance. On top of the calendar, charts provide visual snapshots of hours logged versus target hours, and users can filter by work type to see distribution across projects, billable versus internal work, and more. Quick edits, copy-paste shortcuts, and smooth navigation make this time entry feature faster and more efficient. Overall, this helps improve adoption because the experience feels modern, intuitive, and actionable. Let me show you how it looks like with a quick demo. To see this, you need to be on the latest version. Okay, let's start with the demo. As you can see here, you have two spaces. One is time entry as well as time entry calendar view. So time entry is the traditional way of entering the time in grid format, as you can see here. Now let's go to the new feature, time entry calendar. As you can see it here, these are all color coded. Something is in yellow, which means the time entry has been submitted. Time entry is in draft if it is in yellow. You can see all the description here, the project task, duration, everything. If it is in blue, which means it has been submitted. If it is in green, which means it's been approved. As you can also see at the top, the different views. If you click here, you can see different views like daily, weekly, monthly. And based on that, if you click on the chats, you will see the snapshot. Since we have selected the weekly view, you can see the weekly snapshot of the number of hours that's been logged for the target hours, which is 20 out of 40. If you scroll down, you can also filter by work type here, which means you can just select work or absence or vacation or overtime and see how many numbers that's been logged in the snapshot. I'm just selecting only work, and I see 20 hours it's been logged. Let's go see how many hours that's been logged for the overtime. 0 hours. So we didn't log any hours for the overtime. Now let's go change monthly view. Now everything gets refreshed and you will see a monthly snapshot. Let's select work because we don't have hours logged for overtime. So now we can see 21 hours that's been logged for that month, August month, out of 240. Now, in this page, you can also create a new time entry by selecting the block and entering start time, end time, duration. Again, the type of work. Is it a standard work hours? You can enter the standard work. If you're taking a vacation, you can enter the vacation. If you're working overtime, you can select overtime and create and assign the project here, as well as project task. If you can enter the time entry for a specific project task and give the role. You can give the description, external comments. Let's just go to weekly view. Let's go to the next view to see more entries. Yeah. Here, as you can see at the corner, the triangle, this comes up, this populates when you enter the comments. And if you can see a lock symbol also here. So for the submit and approved, it's been locked, which means you cannot make any more edits. You have to request a recall if you want to make an edit. So you have all the options here, submit, recall in this page. Okay, that's the new calendar interface. Now let's go to the next topic, cancel auto journals on the database. So in project operations, you can create actuals in bulk using entry journals, which simplifies tracking of time, expenses, and materials. But if mistakes are made during the creation of entry journals, like wrong amounts or misassigned tasks, you don't need to fix each entry manually. The cancel actuals from entry journals feature allows you to reverse incorrect actuals cleanly while creating a correction journal that maintains a full audit trail. This helps preserve financial integrity, keeping records accurate without impacting other data. Let's look into the demo now. Okay. In Dynamics 365 project operations, go to Sales. Under Transactions, click on Journals. Let's create a new journal entry. Just giving the description as test 3. Save it to see the journal lines. And let's create a new journal line. Let's select the transaction type is cost. Transaction date. Let's give the project. Again, here also we have the option to select the task. Let's give the role. And I would give the quantity as 3 for this demo. Save and close. So now let's select this transaction and confirm. Confirmed journals we should see in the actuals. So let's go to actuals and see if this transaction has come with quantity 3. As you can see, this transaction, cost 1, has come with quantity 3 in the actuals page. Let's just go to this project and see if this transaction has come up there as well. Refresh. We should see a transaction with quantity 3. Yes. Okay. Now let's go back to the actuals page and select this. As you can see, now we have the option to cancel from the actuals page. Click on cancel. Go to actuals to cancel to select the transaction that we are planning to cancel. To confirm the cancellation. This is irreversible, so this message gets populated to reconfirm. Let's click OK. Now let's go back to project, refresh, and see if a new transaction with a negative quantity has been created. As you can see, a new transaction has been created with -3. Instead of creating it manually with this feature, this gets automatically created. Okay. Now let's go to the next topic. What if analysis? What if analysis feature in Dynamics 365 project operations is designed to help project managers and sales teams simulate different pricing and estimation scenarios before finalizing a quote. Here is a breakdown of how it works and what happens when you set goals. Let's go to the next slide. Let's say there is a sample quote with profitability gross margin of 24.68. And let's apply what if analysis to see this base quote. Let's say we are setting the goal of 75% margin, and we are giving the scenario as balanced growth plan. System evaluates the current quote against the target margin, which we have set as 75%, and then it highlights differences to reveal gaps. As you can clearly see here, current performance indicators and balanced growth plan. With a couple of the financial planning and risk gaps, it will highlight. Now, if you see the next slide, what if analysis also generated a more aggressive plan to meet the target margin? So now users can compare the plans and choose what is more effective and apply the quote. With that, we finished the new features. And these are some of the resources that you can take a look, and please provide your ideas through Ideas portal if you have any. And we will hand it off to Alejandra.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So we posted and pinned a survey, a short survey in the Q&A panel. We'd love to hear your feedback on today's session and what would you like to see in the future events. And the recording will be made available on the Dynamics TechTalk community site and in our community YouTube channel. I posted the links into the chat as well. Thanks to our presenters and to you, our audience, for attending our Tech Talk today. We hope you have a great rest of the day ahead.